Many Amazon sellers find a product that they're excited about. They place a 500 unit order, pay for shipping, and then spend a ton of money on PPC to launch. 6 weeks later down the road, they have achieved nothing but confusion, wondering why the product is not selling. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the exact framework I run every single product idea through before I commit a single dollar. Because finding a product is only step one. Do you really want to take unnecessary risk while investing your hard-earned money? Now, product validation is what separates sellers who scale and sellers who fail. This is part 2 of a product research series. If you haven't watched the last video, I highly recommend you going back and watching it first. The link is in the description, where we covered product discovery. After the discovery phase, naturally, you will want to get quotes and move forward. Now, do not do any of that yet. We are going to stress test the product ideas to make sure they are worth investing any more time or money into. First, you need to split product validation into two sides: keyword opportunity and product opportunity. Keyword opportunity involves demand, seasonality, keyword saturation, reviews, and competition. Product opportunity involves product ratings, product type, commodity versus lifestyle products, and the range in pricing. Let's start off with keyword opportunity first. The first thing you want to check is whether the product is seasonal. This is one mistake that can cost you significantly. Let's take a look at this product on my screen. Alright, so we found this product using the same strategies I mentioned in my previous video on product discovery. So let's take a look. All that looks very good. It's very attractive. Looks like a niche that has opportunity. For the main keyword, bee traps outdoor hanging, it has roughly 3,252 searches a month. Not too bad. The first thing we want to check is clicking on this graph icon here, which will bring up our search volume based on the time span. I'm going to set this for 3 years. Now this is where it gets interesting. We see these spikes here. This is a very seasonal product. And when we are pulling keyword data from Blackbox, for example, we're taking it based on the exact time we are searching. And according to the data in April, yes, this keyword has a lot of searches. But for you to launch a product, it takes roughly 3 to 6 months to get it entirely developed. And that would make it July to September. And what happens then is you launch at a time where there's only 169 searches a month versus where it should be almost up to 4,000. This is why it is super important to check the seasonality of a keyword. Let's take a look at another product. This is a product that I mentioned in the last video as well. All the data looks great. So the first thing we want to look at, again, is the seasonality chart. We're going to put 3 years as well. And from this, it looks like it's pretty steady. It had a giant spike during the holidays, which is normal for a lot of products. But there's not enough data to show that this is a consistent trend or consistent selling item. The things I like about this is that it's trending up. It looks like it's something that's going to become a mainstream product, but it's too early to tell. Whenever you're investing in inventory, you don't want to gamble. So the data is telling me, yes, this is on an uptrend. It's a better choice than the bee trap, but there's still a lot of unknowns. And unknowns means risk, which is what we're trying to avoid when doing product research. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. Again, this is another keyword I found using the same process. Toilet paper storage with lid. Let's take a look at the seasonality for this one. We want to set it to 3 years. And this looks like a product that wasn't a mainstream product, but it slowly picked up in August of 2024. And it's continuously kind of had a pretty stable, it's not flat, but it's relatively evergreen. So we can see that over at least a year or almost 2 years now, there's consistent demand. And consistency means lower risk. So this looks like an opportunity that has potential where we can look further into. Checkpoint number 2. Is there real keyword demand? This is another keyword opportunity that we need to focus on. What you're looking for on page 1 is how many products on page 1 have under 300 reviews and over $10,000 in revenue. We also want to check if the revenue is spread out evenly so that there isn't a seller completely dominating the niche. And to execute this check, we will use Helium 10's X-ray. So let's go to my screen. The first thing you want to do is click on this Helium 10 extension and click on X-ray. Then we want to go to filters. We want to remove all the sponsored products just to clean up the list. And then we want to go to this filter here and type in 300. So anything below 300 review counts. Okay, so now we have the results of everything under 300 reviews. We'll look at how many of them have over $10,000 in sales per month. So you have 1, you got 2, you have 3, there's 4, 5, there's 6. So this tells us that there are numerous sellers that are able to achieve over $10,000 in sales per month, even with less than 300 reviews. Okay, let's uncheck this filter of 300 reviews. Now we're trying to see if there is a certain brand or product that is completely dominating the niche, meaning they have majority of the sales. If that's the case, usually it means there is a patent or some kind of external barrier, such as a major brand, limiting the other sellers from similar potential. Right now, I don't see that. We see the revenue pretty well spread out, which is a very good sign. So from that point of view, this is a check. Now, if page 1 is full of products sitting at 2,000 to 3,000 reviews, it's not a hard no, but you better have a very strong differentiation play because you're going to be fighting uphill against very veteran sellers with massive social proof. Meaning, even if you're selling a similar product, even at a lower price point, you're not going to do well. Simply because if a product has a couple thousand reviews, they're going to be able to dictate a higher price point, and they've put in the legwork already to get the organic ranking. Checkpoint number 3, keyword saturation. When selling on Amazon, the ultimate goal is to rank for relevant keywords and drive those sweet organic sales. This is what enables full margin revenue without relying on PPC spend. Now, the key question then becomes how costly and how difficult it will be to achieve those organic ranking for those main keywords. Now, to assess that, we use 2 tools, Helium 10 Cerebro and DataDive's Master Keyword List. So let's dive right in. All right, in the X-ray screen here for this product, what we're going to do is we're going to select the top 10 products that are most relevant to this search term. So we want to double check these products as being relevant products to this search term, and then we'll select the top 10. Next thing we're going to do is run Cerebro. Okay, now that we have the top 10 ASINs selected, I want to know where these ASINs or these competitors are organically ranking on page 1. So I'll put in position 1 to 25. And then I'm going to put in the ranking competitors count filter as well. So I want to say at least 9 of these sellers are also ranking on the same keywords. That should give us a very narrowed down, hyper relevant keyword list. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to sort by search volume. What we are going to look for is how is the keyword search volume distributed. What I want to see is multiple keywords that are available for us to sell on. Not just 1 or 2, but as much as possible, over 1,000 searches a month at least. Because if there was only 1 or 2 keywords, then everybody is going to be targeting that keyword, which essentially drives up competition, and your PPC bids will be very expensive. Right now, I like what I'm seeing because there's a lot of keywords that are over 1,000 searches, which allows us to use multiple keywords to sell this product. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to use DataDive. And how that works is we have an extension here. We open Divebox. And this is very similar to Cerebro, except it's filtered by sales. So you may get some products that are not as relevant, but in the broad range of the niche. For example, if we look at this one here, it is storage, but not exactly going to be our direct competitor. Remember, the keyword that we're targeting is toilet paper storage with lid. So what you want to do is select all the ones that are very similar or very relevant to that specific keyword. So we'll go ahead and do that. Okay, now that we have 10 of them selected, what we're going to do is run a dive. This is the screen you will see when the dive is finished. There's a lot of information here, but what we're going to look at most importantly is the master keyword list. Inside this screen, this is where data dive becomes very, very powerful. We have a bird's eye view of the overall niche of the top sellers. And what we are trying to see here is how competitive are the keywords? How difficult will it be to sell in this niche? For example, we can see different strengths of sellers. And the strength is measured by how well these competitors are ranked on the keywords. If we look down here, these are the keywords that are relevant to this niche, to this specific product. And the lower the number is the higher the ranking for that specific product. And we can see here, even for these sellers that are very weak in terms of ranking on the keywords, these are the positions of where they're ranked. And some of them are not even ranked majority of the keywords. And we can look at their sales. So this one does about 400 units a month. This is about 300 units a month and 300 units a month. However, they're not even ranked on majority of the keywords. That means the opportunity to rank on some of the keywords is going to be easier. That means the opportunity to sell in this niche will be easier because a lot of competitors are leaving low-hanging fruit on the table, which allows us to come in and rank for those keywords more easily. Now, if we saw very strong competitors all across the board, this would be a hard no, because ultimately you need to rank for the keywords. And the only way you can do that is if you outsell them in terms of sales velocity, conversion rates, and click-through rate. If the overall sellers in the niche are not good at it and they're leaving a lot of positions available, that means we can spend less PPC and achieve organic ranking easier, making the opportunity a better opportunity. This is the keyword data side of the business. And understanding this is going to relieve you of major headaches going forward when you're trying to rank for keywords, trying to make sales. The next part of this is going to be the product opportunity side. Checkpoint number 4 is product ratings. In this section, what you're trying to figure out is if there is unfulfilled demand, meaning the products in the niche right now, or products on page 1, have very poor ratings, yet there is still a lot of sales. This means that because there's no other choice of products that fulfill that need, buyers are resulting to purchasing products that are poor quality simply because there is no other option. And this can also be assessed as well with Helium 10. If we look at page 1 of this product here, we can see the average rating is 4.5. Not great, but not bad either. Then we can look at some of the products we were looking at before. So for example, this one has a 4.0 rating, meaning the market isn't satisfied with the quality that's available. Yet the sellers still make a lot of revenue. Same thing for this one. 4.2 rating. What we can get out of this data is the lower the rating, the more opportunity you have to improve products in that niche, meaning it's going to be an easier opportunity for you to enter, which means it's going to be an easier opportunity for you to enter and develop a new product that fulfills the need and fill that gap. Checkpoint number 5. Is it a commodity product? Selling a commodity product on Amazon sucks. It's tough because there's very little you can differentiate, and that leads to price competition and your margins get squeezed very fast. It also leads to high PPC costs, so you have to spend more on ads just to be visible. There's very low brand loyalty. Customers will switch to the cheapest option almost immediately. Keywords will be saturated, which means it's going to be harder to rank and harder to stay ranked. In contrast, we want to focus on lifestyle products that can be differentiated better, or value-added products which can justify higher price points, better conversion, and rely less on constant ad spend. If you're selling on Amazon, one of the most overlooked signals of a good product opportunity is a wide price range. And here's why that matters so much. First, it gives you room to differentiate through quality, bundles, or added features instead of competing completely on price alone. Secondly, it makes premium positioning possible. If higher price points are already selling on Amazon, that means customers are willing to pay more for a better product, a better solution, and a better offer. Thirdly, it opens better margins. You can never win on price point alone, but you can win on innovation and value. Having a wide price range gives you flexibility when selling on Amazon, and flexibility is what you need to survive on Amazon. And that's how you validate the product and keyword opportunity. Run every product idea through all these steps before you spend a single dollar. The ones that pass are going to be your serious candidates. The ones that don't, well, congratulations. You just saved yourself from a very expensive mistake. The next video in this series is going to talk about product development, because validating the product opportunity is one thing. Knowing exactly what to improve and whether it can be profitable is also going to make or break your business. There's a link to the product discovery video in the description. If you haven't watched that one, I would start there first. I've also included some discount codes for Helium 10 and Data Dive as well for you. Remember, subscribe if you want to follow the full series. And if you got a product idea you've been sitting on and you're not sure what to do with it or whether it's a good idea, run it through this checklist or reach out to me and we can have a talk about it as well. Until then, I'll see you guys on the next video.